The different types of Black girls are just all so beautiful. We have nerdy Black girls, we have ghetto Black girls, we have bougie Black girls, we have suburban Black girls, we have urban Black girls. And they're all so unique, but we all have the same story that's kind of interwoven because the culture, like if you like look on social media, especially one of the pages, Embracing Black Culture, you see that so many of us had the same childhood. Even though some of us were nerdy or quirky or queer or whatever, we all had the same underlying childhood and some of the same experiences and traumas and things like that. And that's what kind of unites us.
My life growing up as a Black woman honestly was very empowering. My family's from Trinidad and Tobago, and I was always told that I can do anything. It was always whatever you think that you set your mind to, that you can get it done, and there was never any like limits or anything that was impossible to do.
I think that was something that was instilled in me at home, was one, having a voice. Big family, seven altogether, 5 siblings. I'm the youngest of 5. And so you had to speak up in order to get attention. And I don't know, I think that kind of instilled like a boldness in me. It wasn't always expressed like in school, but the older I got, the more my siblings kind of like coerced it out of me, like, hey, you're this big, bold personality at home, go out into the world and be that also. So, yeah.
Growing up, I grew up in the ghetto. We didn't have much. I was never hungry, thank God. I never went without the necessary essentials. But my mom, again, she said, listen, this is where we live because this is what I can afford. And, these are your clothes because this is what I can afford, but your clothes are clean. There's food on the table. It may not be as fancy as someone else's table, but we're eating, we're healthy, you're clothed, you're loved, and let's hit those books.
Man, growing up into a Black woman, starting from a girl, obviously a young woman, there was a lot of challenges, but it was also a lot of fun. In elementary school, had a lot of different friends, a lot of people of color, and back then you didn't realize how lucky you were for that because it was saturated with white people, and so I didn't know how lucky I was to have a Filipino friend and have a Hispanic friend and have another Black friend and still also have a white friend, and just having that variety of a clique.
My mom, she was a very strong woman, and she grew up in Virginia, where unfortunately there was a lot of racism growing up in Norfolk, Virginia. So she would literally run from the KKK children. And even going through that, she said, you are not a product of your surroundings. You are going to be bigger than your surroundings. I expect more from you. This is how I want you to walk. You hold your head up high, shoulders back. You walk a certain way. You walk as if there is no one around. You are it, and you're gonna make it.
Yeah, so like I said, I was a young mother and pregnant in high school. So my experience growing up through high school, I got pregnant at 15 and had my son at 16. And like I said, I was in a predominantly white school, so that's not normal where I was at. I was the only girl and I was Black on top of that. So I honestly felt like I was a statistic at the time, Black and pregnant, but I didn't let that deter me. I was determined to finish high school, so I stayed in high school until they put me on bed rest, and I did homeschooling until I was able to come back to school. But I got a lot of backlash. People wrote on the bathroom walls about me. They, just said all types of nasty things. People even I thought with my friends would say stuff behind my back. And, that just really put like a burden on me, because I felt like since that point on, I had something to prove. I had to overcome being that statistic in that school. So I graduated with honors, but I still felt like it wasn't enough. Like, people weren't seeing me. All they saw was the black girl in high school that had the baby. That's what people know me as. Like, oh, remember you was pregnant in high school. But I've always had my same friends in my corner. But I just think it was just harder because I was going to a predominantly white school, and that's not normally seen.